An example of a near-perfect show on television would be This Is Us, but the intense family drama is on its way to a definitive end with its latest season. Fans of the show are left wondering why the show hasn't been renewed for a new season, especially considering how well received it is. Well, today, we'll be discussing exactly how This Is Us Season 6 will be its last, and why the creators of the show made that decision. Let's look into the 6th season. Many of us, it's hard to comprehend why a show that definitely has the potential to put out a few more quality seasons has decided to throw in the proverbial towel. The 6th season of the brilliantly crafted TV series is set to be its last. Viewers of the show can't help but mourn the loss of a show that intricately crafted such complex storylines for the Pearson family members. For an audience used to seeing shows turn out seasons after seasons solely to appease them, it's hard to see a show come to a close on its own. Many shows eventually forego quality in favor of creating a show where viewers can happily form attachments to the characters who may never leave their screen. This Is Us, however, did not turn out to be one of them. The show had, since the very beginning, in fact, set parameters on how long it was to be aired. And once the showrunners had effectively told the story they'd set out to share, the show could come to a conclusive end. The main reason behind the 6th season being the last. As we mentioned, the showrunners had always planned the show to be a short-lived entity, one where no ties were left untethered by the end of the show. Due to the nature of the series, which revolves around a family union and is pretty intense at times, somewhat important for the series to have an end that feels satisfying and worth the drama the entirety of the series entailed. After the end of Season 3 in 2019, famously considered to be the series' midpoint, creator and executive producer Dan Fogelman openly claimed that they were roughly in the middle of where the television series was supposed to go. He said that they had never actually set out to make a television series that was going to last 18 seasons, and so they always had a very direct path. And at that point, by the end of Season 3, viewers were witnessing the characters in the middle of their story. He compared it to being in a movie theater around 1 hour in, wondering what's going to happen next. A potential secondary reason for the show's end. After this notation made by Fogelman, the show was renewed for the final 3 seasons, which made Season 6 its inevitable yet widely anticipated end. Now that Fogelman had a rough idea of how many seasons he wanted for the show, he set out to create a script appropriately paced to get to the conclusion had cleverly teased. But perhaps a deeper secondary reason exists for the show's calculated end. You see, with the way TV series and other entertainment media have evolved, that is, going on highly competitive streaming services, it would make perfect sense to not drag out the show. It's a rare feat for a single TV show to subsist in a traditional broadcast format for so long, let alone one that remained consistently successful and in demand. So the fact that the creators may have chosen to end the show on a rewarding note that was a personal decision rather than being rushed by the network to complete the story haphazardly is a huge accomplishment. The 6th season of the show has already started airing on NBC, with its first episode being released on the 4th of January. What to expect from this 6th and final season of This Is Us? The show has, in effect, mastered the art of simplicity as it heightens the drama and the mundanity of the lives of the Pearson family. The show, which also heavily relies on flashbacks and flash forwards, is very likely going to tie up loose ends from past episodes in its final season, coming to a singular and definitive conclusion for the family. As it stands, events have a tendency to be taken and magnified by the characters in the show, who will eventually have to catch up to the futures we see of them in flash forwards. Fogelman, in the same interview in 2019, stated he always had a plan for the direction the show was set to take, and eventually the viewers will also be clued in. This Is Us is also notorious for talking about important political issues with little to no sugarcoating, giving them the kind of importance they deserve in visual media, all without making the end result seem corny. In Season 5, Kevin and Randall, who have always had a strained relationship, are tested yet again amongst the constraints of adoption and racism. It'll be interesting to see how that relationship develops over the course of the last season. Sneak peek. Before Episode 1 was aired on NBC, Dan Fogelman took to Twitter on the 9th of September to share a picture from the last day of filming on set. In true This Is Us fashion, the image, which is set in a flashback, feels like like a sucker punch to the gut. The picture showcased actress Mandy Moore and actor Milo Ventimiglia as Rebecca and Jack Pearson, looking at each other lovingly in the warm glow of the kitchen light in an embrace. Fogelman has cleverly placed many twists and turns throughout this season, much like any other This Is Us season, but multiplied tenfold. When talking about the event of telling people the outline for season 6 of the show to NBC executives, Fogelman jokes that he'd seriously horrified some people. He claimed that he enjoyed the complexities too much though, and plans to take this series in the direction he'd always intended, regardless of the reaction he receives. He said, "All the questions that you're asking about Kate and who's Nikki with and how does this end, we've had it very carefully mapped out." Coming back to the point where he felt the need to complete telling this story, he'd started with no interruptions. He said, "So, love it or hate it, we get to go out the way we've always planned on going out and executing the plan. I feel very confident in it, and I'm excited about this season." The trailer for This Is Us Season 6, This Is Us is notorious for making viewers cry. The situation was no different when the trailer for the newest season dropped. As viewers are well aware, Season 5 of the show gradually revealed that Rebecca Pearson was on her way to losing her memory. This is especially heartbreaking because she's the sole matriarch of all the characters of the show focuses on, and her memories are often most vivid in flashbacks. In the trailer, Rebecca can be seen contemplating the loss of her memory, right as some of the series' most joyful and painful scenes play in the background. In heart-wrenching voiceover territory, Rebecca claims that she isn't worried about forgetting the big stuff, claiming that it's the little things I'm not ready to let go of yet. This season is also specific in the way it's going to take hiatuses and breaks, which is to say, there will be minuscule in nature and rigidly controlled. The finale is hyped. Sterling K. Brown, who plays Randall Pearson on the show, is gearing up for the show's eventual demise. He plans to look back at the work he did on This Is Us and the show itself with joy. Brown told Good Housekeeping that he's getting ready to say goodbye to Randall Pearson, character he was immediately inspired by when he read the script for the pilot episode of the show. He claimed that he was proud of the show's ability to maintain both quality and emotional consistency over the past 6 years. He admitted how the series, planned to be 6 seasons, solely allowed the opportunity for something that doesn't happen a lot on network television. That is a real sense of closure. Whilst talking about this, he admitted that the show has been building towards something the moment it aired, and now that they had a chance to finish Fogelman's artistic vision, it's inevitable that the conclusion of the show will, in part, feature the much-teased scene with an old Rebecca Pearson lying in bed at Kevin's house. The show's end. But even so, Season 5 was chaotic and left fans questioning how the show planned to end its run. Would it be on a positive note, as the siblings and in turn the family learn to mend their relationships? Or would the series end on a desolate lesson that despite being a close-knit unit growing up, a family can just as easily fall apart? In the same interview, Sterling Brown said that he hoped that fans took more than just projected drama from the show, because at its core, This Is Us is about living with loss and about moving forward. He elaborated on how the show used to be about a family grieving the loss of their father in the beginning. Now you see them dealing with the declining health of their mother. We talked about how none of that is a reason to stop living. And with that, we wrap up this video. Let us know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching.